endeavors as they're about to get set, then we might want to just give up and go home. The opinions on all your favorite teams. I'm glad that Mac Jones looks better. That's really important. He needs to look better. But if it were a video game, he'd still have an overall rating of 76, and that ain't cutting it. This is the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com.
What's up, everybody? Brady Farkas Show on a post-holiday Wednesday. I hope all of you had a safe and happy and relaxing 4th. Those of you that were with me last night, appreciate you for putting in a little extra work with me here on the holiday. So great stuff all around. Again, hope everybody had a safe and happy 4th, and fireworks were able to go off wherever you were. We're up until 6:10 today. Short show, 40 minutes before Red Sox-Rangers Game 2. We'll talk to Tom Caron of Nesson before that game. We'll do that in about 15 minutes. We got a lot to get to. Show is brought to you by Fecto Homes, your total home solution in Montpelier. Also, the text line is open. Ayer Auto text line, 802-585-3026. That's Ayer Auto Sales on North Main Street in Barrie. Again, 802-585-3026. Don't have enough time to waste. Lego. The opening thoughts on the Brady Farkas Show are brought to you by Sticks and Stuff and by Swanton Lumber, Vermont's most complete locally owned home center with locations in Enosburg, Derby, Middlesex, St. Albans, and at Swanton Lumber. They're online at sticksandstuff.com. Again, Tom Caron in about 15 minutes. Got to get to this note here on DeAndre Hopkins. This is the story that just won't end. And frankly, I don't think it's going to end for at least another week and a half. I don't think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be signed. I'm on vacation next week. I'll be back on July 17th. I don't think DeAndre Hopkins will be signed by the time I get back. There's my prediction. So this story won't end. I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. Here's what we know still. The Titans have a standing offer. The Patriots have a standing offer. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, who's close to the situation, updates us on where exactly we are and where exactly Hopkins' mindset is.
New England's still in the mix too. I would say Tennessee, New England, who hosted him on a visit, are the favorites right now. Yeah, the Chiefs are still kept in contact. They just don't have any money. I think in a perfect world they'd like to do it. If they could get the Chris Jones extension done, that would open up some cap space. Maybe they could try to get that to the finish line. I just don't see that. They're probably in the periphery right now. He's still willing to remain patient, put some training camp, but it doesn't mean something couldn't come together in the next week or two.
Jeremy Fowler says he thinks the Titans are really well positioned. Also mentions the Patriots. That's great. That's what we already know. Let me make this very clear. If I am the New England Patriots, I cannot lose this battle to the Tennessee Titans. If the Patriots lose DeAndre Hopkins to the Tennessee Titans, then you either are a much bigger dumpster fire than I thought, or you have had the world's worst sales pitch in the history of free agency. The Tennessee Titans have no business beating the New England Patriots out for DeAndre Hopkins. Absolutely none. Okay? The Patriots have money. So if DeAndre Hopkins wants money, the Titans might have it. The Patriots have it too. Okay, so money shouldn't be what stops him from coming to you in favor of Tennessee. The Patriots have a Super Bowl winning head coach, a 6-time Super Bowl winning head coach, a 9-time Super Bowl appearing head coach. Okay, the New England Patriots have that. The Tennessee Titans don't. So what business do you have to lose to the Tennessee Titans? The Tennessee Titans have 3 quarterbacks, and we don't know if any of them can play. They have Ryan Tannehill, who the team wants to get rid of. They have Will Levis, who fell out of the first round in the draft, who we're not sure about. And they have Malik Willis, who got drafted last year, and it was pretty apparent that he wasn't ready to play. If DeAndre Hopkins chooses that situation over you, then you have done something egregiously wrong, and or you're a huge dumpster fire. Okay? If the Chiefs come in and they find money under the couch cushions and he wants to go play with Patrick Mahomes, you know what? I'll tip my cap and say, you know what? Okay, We can't compete with that. Okay, the Patriots cannot compete with that. If they lose out to the Buffalo Bills because they've got Josh Allen and he'd want to play with Josh Allen, I can't compete with that. I'll tip my hat and try to beat them 2 times this year. But the Tennessee Titans are a team that you can beat out on the free agent market. Titans don't have a Super Bowl winning head coach. Titans don't have a great quarterback. We have no idea. The Titans are going to make a quarterback switch at some point this year. Okay, Ryan Tannehill will not start 17 games for the Titans this year. They're going to go to Will Levis at some point. And if I'm DeAndre Hopkins, I want no part of that. I want no part. You think it's tough enough for maybe him to play with Mac Jones. I want no part of him playing with a rookie who people aren't sure about. The Titans also play in a very bad division. Well, I understand that means that you have a chance to get to the playoffs out of that division. That whole division. I don't know that I'd be rushing to go join the AFC South. Yeah, I mean, the Jaguars look a cut above in that division, but what, you can win the division, get a 4 seed, and then go get blown out? I get it. There's appeal in winning in a division. There is. But you have no chance at a wild card in that division. At least the Patriots, in theory, have a chance at the division and a wild card. The Titans have only one shot at the playoffs. The Patriots have multiple. No one in the AFC South's getting a wild card. That division's too poorly developed. Okay, the Colts are bad. The Texans are bad. And oh, by the way, the Patriots also have a guy who knows you really well and knows how to use you really well in Bill O'Brien. I know there's been talk about their issues with each other in the past, but those issues are reportedly behind us now. So if that's true, you've got another selling point there in that, hey, DeAndre, when you became the Hall of Famer that you're going to be, this is the guy that puts you in those situations. The Patriots have almost it all when it comes to negotiating power, and they really have it all over the Tennessee Titans. It's one thing to lose to Kansas City in the bidding war. It's one thing to lose to the Bills. It's one thing to lose to San Francisco. It's another to lose to the Titans. The Titans are an inferior version of you. That's exactly what the Titans are, an inferior version of the Patriots. Okay, they're Patriots light. They've tried to do everything like the Patriots for the last decade, and they haven't been able to replicate it. They have an aging Derrick Henry. They have an aging Ryan Tannehill. They have 2 young quarterbacks that we don't know if they can play. A bad division. I would not be rushing to join that team. If that team beats you out for DeAndre Hopkins, you have to really, really examine what you're doing here. Because this shouldn't even be a question. If it comes down to the Patriots and the Titans, it shouldn't even be a question. And if I am the Patriots and I'm serious, once again, I am calling DeAndre Hopkins and I am making an appeal to him. I understand that all the people involved are proud. The Patriots probably look at this like, hey, we've made an offer. You have our offer. We're not going to beg you. That's probably how they look at it. But I am calling DeAndre Hopkins if I am the Patriots, and I am saying the following. DeAndre, we made you an offer 2 weeks ago. You haven't accepted yet. Let me lay out for you what we've got going here. We've got a Super Bowl winning head coach, the best coach in the history of the sport, who really loves you and reveres you. We've got an offensive coordinator who knows you better than any other coach in this league, who's put you in situations to be successful for a period of years in Houston. We have a group of wide receivers that, yes, you are better than, but we have a group of wide receivers that is a nice compliment to you. You very well may catch 85, 90 balls, but you don't have to be doing it all on your own. You go to Tennessee, you're doing it all on your own. You come here, you've at least got some people to take some pressure off you. We got a deep threat in Tyquan Thornton we're developing. We got intermediate guys like Devontae Parker and Kendrick Bourne. We got a running game in Ramondre Stevenson. And we got 2 tight ends here. You can get some heat taken off you. And yeah, you know what? Our quarterback last year wasn't great, but he went to the Pro Bowl 2 years ago, and he made the playoffs as a rookie in this league. And you more than anybody knows how hard that is to do. That's my sales pitch, and I'm calling DeAndre Hopkins and reminding him of that. The Tennessee Titans do not have that. Oh, also, by the way, none of the, I can't say this to DeAndre Hopkins, but the other teams you want calling you, big boy, they're not here. They haven't made any calls. I am here. I've got an offer, and I've got a good situation for you. Kimberly Martin of ESPN said earlier yesterday, Patriots aren't a contender with DeAndre Hopkins. It depends on what your definition of contender is. At some point, I want somebody to tell me what the acceptable definition of contender is. If the Patriots get DeAndre Hopkins, they are absolutely a contender for the playoffs. They are absolutely a contender for the playoffs. They are a contender for the wild card, and they're an outside contender at the division. I still don't think they would be better than Buffalo, but they'd be an outside contender, one injury away from being a contender for the division. With DeAndre Hopkins, do I think that they're a Super Bowl team? No, I don't. So if the definition of contender is Super Bowl or bust, then no, they're not. My definition of contender is kind of dependent on the team, right? The team didn't make the playoffs last year. The team was under 500. So a contender for this year's version of the Patriots is making the playoffs. Okay? That makes them a contender to get to the playoffs. And DeAndre Hopkins does that. So let's define what contender is. Ralph says, I think it's a good fit. Of course it's a good fit. I just laid out for you why it's a good fit. They need a number one. He wants to be treated like a number one. He wants good money. They have it. He wants to play for a winner, and there's nobody better at winning in the history of the NFL than Bill Belichick. Yes, the quarterback situation isn't perfect. It's a hell of a lot better than Tennessee, and the teams with great quarterback situations haven't come calling. I haven't heard the 49ers attached. I haven't heard the Chiefs or the Bills as serious threats for him either. The fit is, of course, is good. Red Sox baseball tonight, 6:10 pregame show, 7:10 first pitch against the Texas Rangers. Our guy Tom Caron of Nesson is going to be with us next on the Brady Farkas Show on DEB.
Exclusively for mobile homes. Vecto Homes has several models for sale off the lot or customize and order your own. Make the most of your time and money. Visit them today at 350 River Street, Route 302 in Montpelier, or online at vectohomes.com.
Thursday night, it's time for this mid-season championship night at the nation's circuit excitement Thunder Road. Double points are on the line for the late models, Flying Tigers, Street Stocks, and Road Warriors in the most critical night of the championship season. Adult admission $15. Kids age 6 to 12, $5. The family fare, 2 adults, 2 kids, just $30. Kids 5 and under free. Thursday night, Thunder Road, Quarryville, Barry. Post time 7 o'clock.
At your food safety standard, mortgage makers are
Welcome back in, Brady Farkas Show here on this Wednesday, WD.
To see a pitcher who works out. Now you have no depth in starting pitcher, so that's where you have to consider that.
You know, it's not.
And neither one was a king that you could have brought back and sort of kept doing what you're doing, and they would have had a profound impact on this team.
TC, I'm on vacation next week. We'll catch up in
Me
2
too.
weeks. Yeah. Welcome back in.
prices start at $10,000 per person. Contact your Mill Travel advisor. Call 800-78-MIL or email help@milltravel.com. That's 9 nights at cruising Antarctica with me, Roger Hill. Contact Mill Travel for more information.
Local businesses advertise with WDEV because they get results.
I've been advertising on WDEV for a number of years now. It's been a really great spot for me to get my name out.
We're an excellent partner for our advertising dollars.
We jumped at the opportunity and we're so pleased we did. We've experienced incredible results.
Interested in advertising on WDEV? Contact us at WDEV@radiovermont.com.
The
Brady Farkas Show now has an interactive text line, so reach out now at 802-585-3026. Now it's back to the Brady Farkas Show on WDEV AM, FM, and WDEVradio.com. Welcome back in, Brady Farkas Show here this Wednesday, WDEV AM, WDEVradio.com. Until 16 today, Red Sox baseball. Red Sox taking on the Rangers, looking to avenge the loss in the rain-soaked July 4th showdown yesterday. Joining us now, Sox insider over at Ness and Tom Karen. TC, how are you?
Doing well, Brady. How you doing?
I'm doing well as well. An hour and 57-minute rain delay for you on July 4th yesterday. How was that?
Well, I mean, rain delays are never fun. Rain delays in the bottom of the eighth with 2 outs are especially frustrating. And, I was sideline reporter, and the players were pretty fired up when they put the tarp on the field. The reaction was sort of like, you made us play in this stuff for the last hour and a half. And it didn't really get worse. I mean, I know it's about safety and about the field, but I do wonder, had they not gone for the, and Brooks not gone for the pitching change there, if they would have maybe gotten through that inning with the final out, maybe they would have been able to dive and drive and try to finish the game. But man, hour 47 minutes to record the final 7 outs of the game wasn't what anybody was looking for in the 4th of July.
You know, I ranted about this yesterday, TC, and I do get it, but I'm still frustrated, right? Young player comes up, struggles 1 year, struggles the next year. You try to figure out a system to help that young player grow and to insulate them from what their struggles have been in the last few years. So I get why the team has been protective of Jarren Duran against lefties at this point. But he's 7 for his last 8. He's doubling and tripling the world to death, and you're down 6-1, and you're still pinch hitting him yesterday. I love Ref Snyder. I get he hits lefties, but at some point, don't you want to see if Duran is anything more than a part-time player? And if you're not going to let him hit in a game you're losing 6-1, when are you ever going to let him hit against lefties?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I was a little surprised. The other day, I thought it was a tight game, but in this case, it's you've got a kid now that you really need to see every day. I mean, he's electric. So not just 7 hits in a row, but 6 other extra bases, 5 doubles and a triple. It's remarkable what he's doing, and I would like to see him get a little more time against lefties. I think it's more situational. It's a late game, pinch hit opportunity when you think you're going to be able to get something going. And Ref Snyder is so good. He's literally one of the best hitters in all of Major League Baseball against lefties. So it's really about when you deploy that weapon, I think, rather than taking Duran out. But putting him in there for Duran when you're going to be able to substitute in the outfield does make sense. I just wonder what it does for the continuing development of Duran.
I was going to ask that as a follow-up question here. We are so, and I get it. Again, it's a business, and business is trying to optimize its performance. So I do get it. But specialization, while it might help the business, it does stunt personal development. And do these players get frustrated that they're not necessarily allowed to grow and evolve, or are they happy to succeed in whatever role they're given?
It's funny. I think a little bit of both. I mean, I think, Duran wanted to stay in the game. I think they do get that. They're not happy to be labeled because long-term growth, long-term financial reward, long-term opportunity, it's limited when you're a platoon player, right? And he's not that. Again, it's just that late game Ref Snyder option. But I do think some of them, some players, don't mind maximizing their numbers by getting better matchups. That's the game we live in now. It really is. And it's not about pinch hitting. It's about maximizing numbers. What this guy does against this type of lefty, this type of righty. It goes both ways now. The business, the team is trying to maximize their offensive opportunity in that case, and the offense is sputtering on a day like that. But on the other hand, you're also trying to maximize the player and give him his best opportunity for success. And that's the world they grow up in now, so I don't think they think twice about it.
Tom Karen, Sox insider over at Ness, with us here on the Brady Farkas Show, WDEV, AM and FM, and WDEVradio.com. TC, I see the record just like you do, right? They're not good enough to go all in. They're not bad enough to blow it up. But that said, I do think the Red Sox need to acquire a pitcher, and at least one. It doesn't have to be a sexy name. Like I advocated yesterday for Chris Flexen, DFA'd by the Mariners, DFA'd by the Mets, won 14 games 2 years ago for the Mariners. Between all the injuries and between probable eventual Bayo innings limits, which I imagine will come at some point, they're going to need some help in the rotation beyond just some sexy trade deadline acquisition. What do you think about them acquiring even some low to mid-level pitchers just to fill innings?
Oh, I think that's not only a necessity. I think it's going to happen soon. I mean, it's Kyle Fairclough pitched for Worcester yesterday. This is a guy with 288 major league appearances, most recently with the Angels last year. He gave up. He had no hitter with 2 outs in the 5th inning last night for Worcester, and had given up ultimately 5 innings, 1 hit, got an ERA just over 2. Get him up here. Yesterday you saw it one more time. Caleb Orr in the 2nd inning is not a recipe for sustained success. Okay, and that's nothing against Caleb Orr, but they're trying to cobble together the first time through the order when to get Murphy in to bring him in for bulk relief. You can see it again with Pavetta. He made it clear with us yesterday. Pavetta, even though he's pitching very well, Pavetta is not going to start. Pavetta is going to continue to be a bulk reliever, which means again you'll do the opener, and that's fine. You do that when you don't have a legitimate rotation, okay? But listen, I mean, Connor Crawford took one off the wrist the other day. You one more injury. You got 3 starters there. You've got 3 starters. You've got James Paxton, who you hold your breath. As good as he's been, you're still talking about a guy who hadn't pitched in 2 years. Brian Bayo, who had time on the IL last year, and Connor Crawford. That's your rotation, and you cobble them together too. Now you got, you've got Bayo tonight. You've got Crawford tomorrow. You've got Paxton on Friday. Then you're going to try to put together 2. Brandon Walter, who we saw yesterday, and that's okay. Walter, not Murphy, but the guy that brought the ball guy yesterday. You'll see him and you'll see Pavetta used as bulk reliever. Schreiber's going to be back. There's arms there, but none of them are starters. So you need at least one starter. Maybe it's Fairclough, if you can pull him up and have him help. Maybe it's Flexen. I think that's a no risk. If you can't really bring him in, cover him for a couple starts, you see what he's got. But you probably need to trade and for a 4th, 5th, that's not the whole world's looking for starting pitching, but the whole world's not looking for back-end depth pitching. Most teams right now are looking for impact pitching, and you just need the bodies because no one right now. I mean, Whitlock, I would think it's gonna be weeks. Like he was a month last time, so and that was the best case scenario where he didn't need surgery. So a bone bruise, I'm assuming it's gonna be at least a month. It's at least another month for Chris Sale, and probably at least another month for Tanner Cobb. That's a lot of baseball with 3 starting pitchers.
Trade conversations, I think at least, take time to develop. It's not like, hey, Heimblum calls somebody and has a deal done in 10 minutes here. So knowing that, what do you think is the deadline where the Red Sox have to make a decision as to what their thought process is? Is it the deadline? Is it July 20th? Is it July 25th? Is it July 27th? Like, given how long these things take, when do you have to kind of state your intentions?
Because of where they are, I go watch and see. Somewhere around the 25th. I mean, here's the thing. No matter what they do this year, they can win the next 7 games. I don't think this trade deadline is going to be as easy to read as I think it's going to be like last year. I think you're still going to try to thread the needle. I think you have to. Because even if you reel off the next 7 wins, there are still guys on this team you could trade for prospects without waving the white flag. I mean, Adam Duvall now, you'd like to see him get going. Let's think about it. Duran's emergence, Duvall is a complementary piece. You could trade him. He'd get a lot of value to a contender. Kike Hernandez, we know what he does for championship teams. We saw him with the Red Sox 21. We saw him with the Dodgers in that platoon role. This is not a championship team that's presently constructed. So is it more value? And we know the relationship with him, and I'm not saying he has to get out of here, but he's a value piece that you'll get something for. Nick Pavetta, I believe in his new role now, you get stuff for him. So I mean, those are pieces you could trade without waving the white flag, right? That without going all in on selling off. Then you get to the tougher decision. The James Paxton, the rumors circling about Alex Verdugo. Those are guys who get the biggest return. But if you trade James Paxton, you got no pitching.
Yeah.
You are waving the white flag. But he's in the old life. It's less than $2 million left now. So anybody, a Cincinnati Reds team that doesn't want to spend a lot of money but is suddenly in the hunt, that would be a dream opportunity for them to get a pitcher like that. So you would get a huge ransom. And if you go all the way now for Verdugo, I think it's the best right fielder in baseball. He scored the All-Star. He's a guy you build around generally. But again, Duran is here. Say down Rafaela is in AAA. You're going to have to decide: is Verdugo a guy we're giving $100 million to in the next year or so? And if not, this is when he has the maximum value because you're trading him with a year and a half of control left. And that's the kind of guy, that's a Luis Ariz type trade where you get an impact pitcher, right? Where you get Pablo Reyes-Bauer and Pablo Lopez. You get a pitcher back in return, and that's what you need. You have depth in outfield right now. You have no depth in starting pitcher, so that's where you have to consider this.
It's not as simple as, he wanted to be here and they just let him walk out the door. But it was still tough to hear Nathan Eovaldi say yesterday, like, I thought I was going to be able to come back. And eventually I had to move on. Again, it's not that simple. They did offer him a qualifying offer at some point in there, but it was still disappointing to hear, given the pitching needs they have, and given the relatively modest deal he ended up signing for.
Yeah, no, it's actually pretty simple. I think it actually is pretty simple. He wanted to be here, and they let him go. Obviously,
didn't they offer him a deal?
But it was going to take a multi-year.
I thought they offered him a multi-year deal, though.
They did, but not what he got. And he said yesterday, he told me yesterday, and he said, listen, we kept them apprised of everything we were doing. We kept the door open for a return, and they didn't match. And that's, who was the Zach Eflin, who went to Tampa Bay and was good for them. And the Red Sox were reportedly, from what I've been able to figure out, offered him about the same thing. Okay, except he's from Florida, and Massachusetts now has, just beginning last year, a new millionaires tax where any money you make over $1 million is taxed at a higher rate, and that's going to hurt the Red Sox signing players. They're all millionaires by and large, right? So you're going to, at the very least, you're going to have to overpay to compensate for the millionaires tax, right? So whatever, I don't even know what it is, but let's say it's 10%. Well, you're going to have to do 10% more than anybody else, so that it's the same money in the end. Okay, that's the way it is. And it's funny, I talked to Kiki Hernandez about this player after he signed the 1-year extension. So I didn't even know about that because it was just but anyway, it's so if they wanted that win, and I think they did, they would have to overpay. But overpay. If you got paid a few more million a year to get that deal done, I think you got to do that. If only I get their analysis, that the injury history was real. But man, nobody works hard. I've yet to see a pitcher who works out as hard in spring training as Nathan Eovaldi, and that's at 20-something years of covering this team. He's a workout warrior. You saw him yesterday. He's in tremendous shape. Would anybody predicted he was going to be one of the best pitchers in all Major League Baseball? I don't think so. But if healthy, he's a guy you knew could take the ball, give you a start every fifth day, and like Xander Bogaerts, wanted to be here, clubhouse leader, and reflected everything you want your organization to be. And so when you go back over the last few years, I was having this conversation yesterday. It's like tangent, but the two, you can talk about trades, talk about who you get, you talk about who you didn't get, you talk about who you let go, like Bogarts and best. But the two simple ones, and they were simple financially and simple because guys wanted to be here, were Nathan Eovaldi last year and Kyle Schwarber the year before. Those were two guys who were here, they were clubhouse leaders, and they wanted to stay by all costs. And neither one was a king's ransom. They both got money, but everybody gets money. And I just think those were two guys that had you brought back. Renfro, the trade, in maybe a slightly lesser category there. But I think Eovaldi and Schwarber were two guys that you could have brought back and sort of kept doing what you're doing, and they would have had a strong impact on this team.
TC, I'm on vacation next week. We'll catch up.
Absolutely. There goes Tom Caron, our Red Sox insider over at Nesson. A couple of texts on TC we'll get to after the CBS News update, which is coming up next here on the Brady Farkas Show on DEV.
6.1 WDEV FM1, 96.5 W243 AT Barry, 98.3 W252 CU Montpelier, AM 550 WDEV Waterbury.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Allison Keyes in Washington. Cocaine has been found at the White House in the West Wing in an area heavily traveled by staff and visitors. The president has not commented, but spokeswoman Marie Jean-Pierre says,
when it comes to visitors to the West Wing, they come for many reasons. Obviously, we do have West Wing tours that occur here. They happen in this particular past couple of days. They happen on Friday, they happen on Saturday, and Sunday.
Turning now to Philadelphia, where people are shaken after a masked gunman with a long rifle and handgun opened fire around the city, killing 5 people. Police say the firearms were privately made and untraceable. Now Mayor Jim Kinney is suing 2 ghost gun manufacturers.
I want the public to know there is no greater priority for our administration than to reduce violence and create safer communities and a more just city for everyone.
We're learning more now about the January 6th insurrection suspect arrested outside of former President Obama's Washington, D.C. home. CBS's Scott McFarland.
The Department of Justice makes a series of new arguments to hold January 6 defendant Taylor Toronto of Washington State in jail pending trial. They say he was caught outside the home of former President Obama in D.C. last week. They say his van had 2 guns and hundreds of rounds of ammo. They say he was menacing a Maryland elementary school, threatening a Department of Commerce facility in Maryland, and Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
Ransomware gangs have been releasing the confidential school files of children. CBS's Christopher Cruz reports some of the information is graphic.
The documents detail sexual assaults, psychiatric hospitalizations, abusive parents, truancy, even suicide attempts. The nation's schools are rich in data about their students, much of it digitized and susceptible to being stolen by determined hackers, domestic and overseas, who then demand a ransom for the return of the files. The hackers locate and steal files that not very long ago were all paper-based and locked in cabinets. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
The U.S. Navy says it stopped Iranian warships from seizing 2 oil tankers today. CBS's David Martin.
In the first attempt, an Iranian vessel broke off its attack when an American destroyer showed up with an aircraft and drone overhead. On the second attempt, the Iranians fired on the tanker and then departed once the American destroyer arrived.
The airport in Buffalo, New York had a 5-hour power outage earlier, and this man got caught in the drama.
It's never like this here. This is just a huge shocker of this. Never had this before.
Artificial intelligence is now being used to help fight wildfires in California. Cal Fire Captain Chris Africa says the agency is using cameras that can detect smoke without the help of human eyes. This is CBS News.
Find great hires fast with Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Some things are just better together. Castleton University, Northern Vermont University, and Vermont Technical College are coming together to form Vermont State University. The heritage and tradition, the experiential learning and accessibility, the innovative technology and proven career success, all combining to create an emboldened Vermont State University.
Come visit one or more of our campuses and discover all that Vermont State offers at our summer preview days and information sessions. You'll hear from our community, learn about admissions, and have the opportunity to take a campus tour led by our student ambassadors. Join us for a preview of Vermont State University on our Randolph campus, July 10th. Find out more on the visit page at vermontstate.edu.
More opportunities, possibilities, choices, and connections, creating a high-quality, flexible, and personalized education. One dynamic academic community. Work better together as Vermont State University.
Attention Red Sox fans. The WDEV Red Sox fan bus is heading to Fenway Park on Sunday, August 6th to watch the Red Sox take on the Toronto Blue Jays. And you could be on board. Winner receives 2 tickets to the game and round-trip transportation on the WDEV fan bus. Sign up at one of the following locations for your chance to win.
Sticks and Stuff in Middlesex. Waterbury Service Center, Main Street, Waterbury. Stowe Beverage Mountain Road, Stowe. Willie's Store, Greensboro. Waterbury Sports, Main Street, Waterbury.
There are tickets to see the Red Sox take on the Toronto Blue Jays and round-trip bus transportation. Sign up today. No purchase necessary. Winners announced on Thursday, July 27th. More details at WDEVradio.com. Think you know sports better than Brady does? Text in with your thoughts at 802-585-3026.
Now it's back to Brady Breakfast Show on WDEV AM, WDEVradio.com.
Red Sox baseball about 5 minutes from now. Let's clean up a couple things on the text line. The AR Auto text line, 802-585-3026. That's AR Auto Sales, North Main Street in Barrie. Sales, collision, a rental program. Once you're in the family, you are in the family. Texter says, wow, very intriguing. TC says, trading Verdugo now, very bold. I don't think he's saying to trade Verdugo. I know TC. TC wants to win. Like TC, it's good for business for him if the Red Sox win. He is saying that if you continue to be average, then you'll have decisions to make on a guy like Alex Verdugo, right? Like if you're awful, then you can very easily make the case to sell Verdugo, right? You might not want to, but you could make that case. If you're very good, then obviously you want to keep him. But if you're in the middle, then you're forced to a really tough call. And I think that's just what TC is saying, that you're going to get to a point where you have to make really hard decisions here. Then another texter wants to talk football. Joe says, if DeAndre Hopkins hasn't made a decision yet, I don't want him right now. You've had 2 weeks to decide. If you're not all in, then I'm out. I don't begrudge you for feeling that way. I just don't feel that way. Okay, I said all along, my only issue with DeAndre Hopkins will be if he drags this thing into training camp so that he can avoid training camp. That will be the only issue that I have. If DeAndre Hopkins wants to wait and wants to evaluate offers and treat it like college recruitment, I don't have to love it, but I get the times. I'd probably want to do it well. If I knew I had some leverage, if I knew people wanted me, if I knew I had multiple offers, I'd probably want to sit around and wait a little bit and just kind of see what materializes. I wouldn't be rushing. I think that's fair. What I don't want is for DeAndre Hopkins to say, you know what, I don't really feel like practicing. I don't really feel like going through early part of training camp. I'm just going to sign on August 15th and avoid all that. That's what I don't want. And that's what I won't tolerate. If DeAndre Hopkins, if he signs with the Patriots before training camp, then I'm all in. But if he tries to sit until after preseason game number 2 and say, all right, now training camp is easy, now I'll sign, that's what I have no time for. And I think that's fair by me as well. I don't begrudge you if you think, hey, buddy, you've had enough time here. That's it. But that's just not how I feel. I think DeAndre Hopkins is an impact player for this team. And if I'm the Patriots, I'd be calling him and reminding him about why I'm a good situation. But once we get past training camp starting, that's when I'm out. I don't want DeAndre Hopkins on August 1st. I don't want DeAndre Hopkins on August 15th or August 25th. We know how hard it is for veteran guys, especially wide receivers, to come in and learn the playbook. And especially now, the playbook, I imagine, is going to be more extensive with Bill O'Brien. Granted, I know that Hopkins knows Bill O'Brien's offense, but still, we've seen how difficult it is for guys to come into Foxborough and pick up the system and pick up the Patriots' quirks. I would rather have you in here early rather than get here 3 weeks late and try to play catch-up. The Patriots don't have time for you to play catch-up. They're not good enough to be playing catch-up. Rangers are 51-35. The Red Sox are 43-43. John Gray pitches for Texas, 6-4 with a 3.21. Brian Bayo, 5-5 with a 3.08 for the Sox. Marcus Semien leads off for Texas. He's at second. Corey Seager's at short. Nate Lowe is at first. Adolis Garcia is in right. Josh Young is at third. Jonah Himes, the catcher. Mitch Garber's the DH. Robbie Grossman is in left, and Travis Jankowski is in center. For the Sox, Jaron Duran is in the lineup again. He's in left. Masataka Yoshida is the DH. Justin Turner will play first today, although Alex Cora said he'll play some second coming up soon. Rafi Devers is at third. Alex Verdugo's in right. Adam Duvall's in center. Christian Arroyo at second. David Hamilton at short. And Connor Wong is the catcher, and he bats ninth. You look at the Rangers, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys with double-digit homers. You look at the Red Sox, they have 2. That's one of the big differences between this team that's in first place and this team that's in last. I'll see you tomorrow, everybody, for another short show. Go download the podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and WDEVradio.com. Go Sox.